It has been officially 10 days since the new season came out, and I want to wait to do this tier list to see the meta and to see what people are playing in the new Rainbow Six Siege season. So, in today's video, I'm going to rank every single operator in Rainbow Six Siege. This will be my personal preference, and this will be my opinion on what I think is viable and what I see a lot of, or what I see not much of, and I'll just be breaking it down in between. If you guys are new here, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and make sure to get my charm in Rainbow Six Siege by heading over to my Twitch and subscribing. Link is in the description for more information. So, starting off this tier list, we are going to start from the beginning all the way to the end. Fenrir is not on here, and Ram is on here, but I will still include them no matter what. So, starting off first, we have Sledge. Sledge right now, we're in a meta where we're kind of fast-paced. I don't really see a lot of Sledge being used, but he's still useful. I think his grenades are still very good because he is one of the 4 operators that has grenades in Rainbow Six Siege. So, with Sledge, I'm going to start him off at A. I still think he's a good operator, like I said. And, you know, I would rather have a Buck instead of a Sledge, but Sledge still isn't bad. I mean, you have the L8 also, which is an amazing gun. The only thing that really slows him down is his speed. So, I'm just going to put him at A, because he's still very versatile. Coming up next, we have Thatcher. Thatcher, again, very weird meta. Thatcher is a very, very common ban, and I'm going to put him at C, just because EMP grenades, I think, instead of Thatcher, are a lot better. Even though Thatcher does last a little bit longer than the EMP grenades, I still think that Thatcher is a very, very mid, in a very weird state right now, where, again, I would rather have EMP grenades over the Thatcher, and I think, you know, with him being banned, it's like you don't really get to see a lot of him, and, you know, you can have it on, I think there's like 5 or 6 attackers that have the EMP ball, so it really is more, you know, versatile towards them, and I think that, you know, Thatcher not being used that much is fine. And I don't think he's really in the meta right now. Next up, Smoke. At Smoke, I mean, best operator in the game right now. You have, you know, the shotgun. You have the SMG-11. No debate about this. Smoke always should go S tier no matter what. Next up, we have Mute. Mute, I'm going to put at A tier as well. Mute, with this gadget, I think we're still in a state of, you know, Mute being used. And shotgun meta right now also. The shotgun is fantastic, it's amazing. You have a nitro cell, you also have the SMG-11 like Smoke, but you have 4 mute jammers and a nitro. Still, with this speed now being a 2 now Mute is a 3 armor 1 speed, so he's a little bit slower than Smoke, but I would still take Smoke over Mute any day of the week. But Mute definitely has his place at A tier. Next up, we have Thermite. Thermite, in my opinion, I think Thermite is definitely one of the best breachers in the game, I would say, along with Ace. But with Thermite, you know, you have to place down his gadget, so you're kind of at a risk of, you know, dying for it. You also have flashbangs or smokes, and you have the 5.56 XI, which, I mean, that's a really, really good weapon. Hits like a tank. You know, most consistent weapon in Siege for years now. But again, with Therm, I would definitely put him below Ace, but I would still put him high because he's the, you know, a good breacher that opens up a lot of the walls or hatches, or you can make vertical gameplay with him too. Next up, Ash. Ash, we are going to put at S tier. Ash still being a 3 speed, 1 armor. You know, the G36 R4C hasn't got old in ages now. Breach charges are Claymore as well. Gadget, can really get anything. Can also burn if you need to, but it's definitely up there. You know, has been a great operator for years now, and again, I don't see anything wrong with her whatsoever. And she's definitely in the meta right now where it's gun and run, and, you know, I'm okay with S tier. Next up, we have Pulse. Pulse, I'm going to put at high A tier. Pulse, again, great gun. You have a nitro cell as well. You have the UMP, which is a great weapon, or shotgun, you know, or the shotgun, and it's, you know, I mean, the only counter really to it is IQ right now. And, you know, I use Pulse a lot too, just to gather information, but Pulse could be a great roamer as well. I think he's very underrated, and, you know, you don't really see a lot of him. He is annoying to play against, but, you know, has a couple of counters, either vertical play, IQ, you know, or EMPs, but still deserves his spot at A tier. and I think he's very strong, and like I said, very underrated. Castle, you know, this is hard. I'm putting a lot of A's, but Castle, I think, again, is an A operator. Put him below Sledge and Mute just because, you know, you have to use utility on him, just like Mute. But with Castle, I think, you know, you have 4 of them now. You have the UMP or the shotgun, and I think it's really, you know, powerful to have him in a lineup, and, you know, cuts off angles and sights as well. You have proxies that are bulletproof, which is just fantastic. And, you know, Castle definitely has his days on certain sites, and I think he deserves an A spot. Next up, we have Montang. Montang I'm going to put at B. I like running Montang, I think, really on Clubhouse or Nighthaven. Montang gathers a lot of information. He, you know, you could use him in a 5-stack to push certain areas and have a person behind, or just gather information by yourself. He also has impact EMPs, hard breach device, or smokes. 3 of the best secondary gadgets in the game, and I think he really clears. But again, you're kind of, if you're by yourself, it's kind of a weak spot just to have a Montang. It's hard to work as a solo queue player, but if you have like a duo with you or 5-stack, it's a lot easier. But just due to the way that Montang is right now, you know, he's not really running gun. He's more of like a slow down and get information type player. I'm going to put him at B. Next up, we have Twitch. Twitch, right now, I am going to put above Montang, because Montang definitely deserves to go low B. But Twitch, the F2 just doesn't hit the same anymore, unfortunately. Smokes or Claymore. You have, you know, the DMR or the shotgun. You know, the DMR, the 417 definitely hits nowadays. I wish the F2 did get a little bit of a buff, just because I personally can't use it anymore, but it's just like, you know, it's not there anymore like it used to be. It just has a lot of recoil, and like, I worry about the recoil more than what I'm facing in the gunfight, and that's just not the way it should be. But still, Twitch, I mean, you have 2 zap drones as well and 2 regular drones, so you get that full information of 4 drones, and you can destroy basically any gadget with it, with Twitch's drone. And, no, definitely strong up there, and I do like it a lot. Next up, we have Doc. Doc is also at B. I'm going to put him below Twitch. You have the Bailiff, MP5, P90, or the shotgun. You also have the revolver, along with any other of the French operators. But with Doc, I think, you know, definitely deserved at B. Kind of a slow armored operator, slow speed, but it ends up working out in the end. If you know, have a lot of roamers and you have a lot of people that are off site and just need the extra boost of health. Now, Doc, I would say, is a lot better than Thunderbird, just because you have, you know, the Bailiff and you also have the armor. But with the T-Bird Kona stations, you get like unlimited health, and, you know, with Doc you only get 3 stims, but you get to 100 faster. But realistically, unless you have everyone roaming, do you really need a Thunderbird all the time to heal everyone instead of Doc healing 3 players or 1 person 3 times? That's the question. So I'm going to put Doc at B. I'm going to leave him there for now. I think he deserves his rightful spot at high B. Next up, we have Rook. Rook. Right now, again, with Doc, kind of the speed slows. Alright, with Rook again, kind of with Doc is in a weird place of Siege, where it's like, you know, running gun meta, you can really pick yourself up, you get grenaded, and, you know, it helps out the team a lot, but, you know, would you really run Rook 100% of the time? Personally, I wouldn't. I don't think it's, like, worth it in the end, but, you know, I'm still going to put him, I'm going to put him below Doc, but above Montang at B, just because of, you know, Montang, again, you kind of have to have a team with. Rook is good in his own way, but always doesn't get played, and I think, again, his speed slows him down, and he doesn't have a Bailiff either, so it's, you know, as an anchor, I feel like all operators that are, you know, 3 armor, 1 speed should have a Bailiff just so they can help out their team. I'm gonna put him at mid B right now, and we'll see who goes above him. Next up, we have Fuse. Fuse is a good operator, but not in the run and gun meta. I think Fuse with the AK definitely is a great operator, and his gadget can clear a lot. I think he's underrated as well. I know Pox plays him a lot. I'm going to put Fuse at middle A tier for now, and we'll see where he goes from there. I think he's very versatile, and depending on the map, if you don't, you know, rush or have too many clear operators, I think Fuse is good. Next up, Glaz. Glaz is one of my favorites right now. I think, you know, with his grenades or smokes, definitely goes a long way and feels fantastic. Glaz also has a basically 2-shot DMR as well, along with the bearing, if you wanted to, or the PMM, which, again, or the GSH, which isn't the best pistol, but the bearing 9 or PMM does hit a lot. And, you know, with his speed also, I think he's a 2-2. Definitely is, you know, one of the good operators in the run and gun meta. So I'm gonna put him at high A, not including, like, you know, the breachers and stuff have their own separate category, but with Glaz, I think he definitely deserves a spot at high A. Next up, we have Tachanka. Tachanka, in my opinion, is one of the best operators in the game, and I don't think anyone really sees it. I'm putting him at low S tier. A lot of people will disagree with me on this, but I run the SMG over the actual Chanka gun, you know, the one that makes rotates, and I think, you know, you don't really need that. And the meta that we're in, also you have barbed wire or a shield, fantastic. You cannot beat that whatsoever. The best of the best. And with Tachanka, you know, his launcher actually does, you know, it does damage over time, but also blocks up areas and, you know, denies areas. So I think very good operator, and I think definitely needs to be used more, and I might make a whole video about him, just because, you know, I really enjoy his gadget, his gun, his loadout, and everything, and, you know, it's fun to use. You also have the 2x sight on his SMG. How can you really beat that? Next up, we have Kapkan. Kapkan, I mean, right now, definitely above Chanka, but Kapkan, I think, is just, you know, used to deny areas where people rush from, or at the end of, you know, the rounds where the people come in the site, put them late for sight, and, you know, like, I think Kapkan on Villa, best place you can use him. Just, there's a lot of areas, including, like, kitchen. You can put him on the kitchen double door towards, you know, China, and very, you know, late round, no one really looks for it anymore because they have to rush in the site because they take too long to get in sight. So, you know, last second denial definitely with him is fantastic, and I think he definitely deserves a spot at S. Next up, we have Blitz. Blitz, I'm going to put above Montang. I'm going to put above Rook. I think I'll put him at high B. High B, I think, is deserved. He is fantastic on Oregon and a lot of other maps as well. But you can just rush in and you could, you know, really make a play with them. You also have smokes. And if you use them correctly, you could really push out an area and clear, either with yourself or a teammate. It is very annoying to play against Blitz, let me tell you. Very annoying. But on Oregon, you know, rushing elbow, that's so fun. I just love doing that, and definitely one of my favorite plays to do. Next up, we have IQ. IQ, I believe, is above... We'll put IQ above Glaz and the rest of the operators in A. IQ, I just feel like, isn't an S yet. She just needs a little something. Like, her gadget with EMP grenades would just be perfect. You know, the perfect synergy to go with her. You know, you see a gadget and you want to EMP it, and boom. You don't have to get someone else, you can just use yourself. And I think that would be the perfect buff for her. Definitely makes her A no matter what, even without the EMPs. But, you know, you see all gadgets that are electronics, and, you know, you can see anyone that's on like a Vigil Cloak or a Solar Scanner too. And her guns, I mean, the Commando or the AUG, just chef's kiss, fantastic. I love it. Coming up next, we have Bandit. Bandit, I don't really be seeing, like, you know, him being played anymore, so he's kind of in a weird state where Bandit's still good, but there's other operators that I would rather have. I mean, Bandit charges are also very easy to get rid of, and, you know, you could just shoot them, whereas, like, Cade, you really have to, like, look for it, or you can EMP it, but I feel like Bandit is, you know, kind of weak right now. His gun kit, I mean, it's been amazing. You know, MP7, really good. Hasn't even gone, you know, that bad in a long time. So I'm going to put him at B, high B. I mean, he's a denial operator, so he's very good. But I just don't see him being, like, up there anymore in the high tiers. Jaeger is the next operator we are going through. I feel like Jaeger is very underpicked right now just because of Wamai and with his 1.5. Jaeger, I mean, in a team comp definitely is needed, though, you know, for burn or, you know, gadget denial. So I think he's up there and a very good operator. I'm going to put him at high B along with Bandit just because, you know, again, I'd rather have a Wamai over a Jaeger any day of the week because you could throw your Wamai disc on where you really wanted to, whereas Jaeger, you kind of have to, like, guesstimate where they're going to be. So Wamai, you can also you know, throw them, and you could basically place them wherever you want to. Next up, we have Buck. Buck, I am going to put above Ash and below Smoke. Buck, in this meta we're in right now, very, very picked often, and it's fantastic. His C8 with the Gone 6, best, you know, best operator. 2-2 also, but, you know, just feels fantastic. Great player to, you know, if you want to rush, if you want to play it slow, you can make rotates, you can open up anything really. You have hard breach or flashbangs as well, if you really want to use them, but I just think, you know, definitely in a high tier spot with, you know, his fragging potential. Next up, we have Frost. Frost, as a defender, oh man. I am going to put Frost above Ash, but below Buck. Frost, man, just speechless. Like, Frost, you know, the shotgun, the Italian shotgun secondary with the CM, you know, main SMGs is fantastic. 3 Frost mats, shield or bulletproof. You cannot go wrong with it whatsoever. Very strong operator. Only downside is, you know, the Frost mats can be naded from below, they can be shot. But just like any other trap, you know, I think it's perfectly balanced. And, you know, you can really put Frost mats in a very unpredictable place and people still, you know, step in them, or even in predictable places. You know, Oregon is one of my favorite maps to run Frost. She's very, very good. Make lots of rotates with, you know, up in Master or in Sight. Just gotta love it. Next up in the tier list, we have Blackbeard. Blackbeard is an F, there's no question about it. He sucks. His shield sucks. Just overall, he needs a whole entire new buff, rework. Just doesn't even fit the meta. Nah. Not even putting him on the list anymore. Valkyrie next, we have we are going to put her high A tier. When she's not banned, she's very useful. I think Valkyrie, you know, her kit suits her well. You still have the Nitro Impact. She hasn't been touched in a very long time. You know, because obvious reasons. She's in a very good place. She's balanced, you know, when she gets banned, it's fine, but just an alternative to getting information. Very good operator, putting it high A above Pulse. Next up, we have Cappy Tau. Cappy Tau, I'm definitely going to put above IQ. I think Cappy is a very, in a good place, I would say. He fits the meta. I mean, you could burn out areas or even make plays with him. He's also a 3-speed, which is, you know, very, very nice for the place that we're in Siege. And, you know, with the Claymore or Heart Breach device, you can really bring him on any site. Very good, and can't beat him where he's at. Next up, we have Cav. Cav is very situational. I'm just going to put her at D just because I don't really see her, you know, she's more of a troll pick, I would say, if anything. I use her sometimes, but just for content. But it's not like she's really useful. If you get interrogation, you get interrogation. If not, it's like, you know, you're kind of just there. You know, her SMG is very good. Pistol, I mean, does a lot of damage, but in the end, it doesn't, you know, really fit right now in Siege, so she's kind of at a lower place in my opinion. Next up, we have Hibana. Hibana, with her buff, I think it was 2 years ago, where you could switch her gadget, definitely is a great, great breacher. You know, just the way we're in, also 3-speed, 1 armor. I believe she has flashbangs or a breach charge. You also have a great gun, the Type 89 or the bearing as a secondary, which bearing once again, amazing. And you know, you could basically get her, you know, you can use her gadget from far away and you can be safe with it. So you could, you know, go from a range to like Ace. I would definitely say above Thermite for sure, just because of, you know, the way she is right now, and her speed definitely helps along with, you know, the range breach, so I'm gonna keep her S. Echo, I don't know. I'm kind of 50-50 about this one. If you made this far, let me know in the comments below what you think of this list so far, but I think Echo, kind of, again, I don't know. He's not good, he's not bad. He got a speed update recently, so, you know, his MP5K definitely is nice with the bearing. You also have impacts or shield still. And he's kind of at a mid place in Siege. He's not good, he's not bad. It's kind of situational. Next up, we have Jackal. Jackal still, no matter what, in my opinion, it will still be at, let's see. We'll put him at low A just because, again, he is a normalized ban. But Jackal is, you know, when used, I mean, you could roam clear, you could open up patches, you could find people if they're in sight, just to get general information. The smoke grenades with them too. Very, very good. The C7E also hits differently, and I love it a lot. Mira, to this day, it's been over 6 years since Mira's been released, which is crazy to think about. But Mira definitely is somewhere up here. I'm gonna put her at high B just because of, you know, her gadget. Like, you could punch it, but it also could be destroyed by, you know, Ace or Thermite or any breacher. And, you know, it's just, I think she fits fine at B tier, and I think that she's very powerful for information, and it definitely scares me when I see a mirror, because I either have to push one way or push it, or try to figure out how to destroy it. Next up, we have Ying. Ying, ooh, man. Ying is definitely up here. I'm gonna put her below Cappy, but above IQ. Ying is super underrated. I think making plays with her is fantastic. Blind, you can make noise for a plant, and I mean, you have 4 of them too. Her LMG also, I mean, just wow. 81 bullets, fast reload. Where's that at Maestro? If Maestro got that buff of Ying, oh my goodness. Maestro would be the best operator in the game. But Ying, I definitely think is underrated and deserves a high spot in this tier list. Next up, we have Legion. Legion, man. I'm putting Legion high. High S tier. Now, with the Super Shorty, Goo Mine buff in the T5 still, I mean, amazing. Just amazing. He is just so fun to play with now, and just so fun to, you know, have on a team. And with 9 Goo Mines that do instant damage now upon impact, how can you really beat that? Way above Frost. And it's a little, you know, little goo. You can see it still, but it's just a little goo that people don't really look for when jumping in windows. So definitely gonna put him at high S. Next up, we have Zofia. Zofia, ever since she got her speed buff, I've never really been a big fan of. I'm gonna put her at high C. Good gadget, you know, but still with 2 stuns, 2 impacts. With the speed, I'd rather run an Ashe instead of her, but, you know, it's more for burn, I would say. Her gun also, I mean, the gun is fantastic. Claymores and breach charges too, the work vertical, but, you know, I just don't really see her being played that much anymore just because of her speed and the way that, you know, she fits into a squad. Next up, we have Ella. Ella Mines? I don't know. Ella's kind of low C. I just don't see her being played that much. Her Ella Mines, you know, do concuss. They don't do, like, the speed buff anymore, which is kind of at a disadvantage for her. But barbed wire, a shield. The Scorpion definitely hits too. And, you know, again, with the way that we're in, it's more of kind of just like a fun operator to play, but not really a part of the meta that we're in right now. Next up, we have Dokkaebi, my bae. Dokkaebi, I'm going to put above Frost, below Legion. Dokkaebi is just so good for any squad. I run her more than often, even last night, on stream, off stream, just, you know, Dokkaebi, you have 2 calls, stuns, smokes, you have a Gon 6 or the SMG 12, which is, wow. You know, her loadout just fits so nice, and a 3-speed too. Can't beat that whatsoever. High S for sure. Next up, we have Vigil. Vigil recently got a buff and a nerf at the same time. I'm still trying to learn out his gadget. I don't know the main gist of it, but I'm pretty sure that when it's like old knock, basically, how Vigil works now. So if you're walking on the cameras, like drones or anything, you'll be seeing, like, Nock's old cloak. You'll still make noise no matter what, but it definitely is kind of in a weird state that Vigil's in. I'm just gonna put him below Bandit, but definitely above any of the other defenders. Good gun too, the Kia. The Kia has always been a fan favorite for me. Next up, we have Lion. Lion, I'm gonna put at low A. You have EMPs, Gon 6, and you have his great AR, which is fantastic. And or you have flashbang instead of EMPs. But Lion is still very good to this day, even when he got, you know, buffed or during his quarantine. Or nerfed, sorry, during his quarantine. But he's just very versatile no matter what. And I think he fits fine at A tier. Definitely above any of the other attackers I put below. Next up, we have Finka. Finka, again, is in a weird state. You don't really see her that much anymore ever since the LMG meta a couple years ago. But I'm gonna put Finka, I'll put below. I think low C will fit her fine. Her gadget's still good no matter what, but you don't really see anyone using the spear anymore, so it's like, what can you really do? Next up, we have Alibi. Again, Alibi had the 1.5. Now she's kind of just in the dirt. Still a very good gun. I'm gonna put her. I'll put her below Vigil just because her gadgets aren't bad. But I mean, you do have the Bailiff, and her gun is pretty solid. But I would rather have a Vigil instead of an Alibi. But ever since she got her 1.5 taken away, who plays her? No one. Now people play Thorn and Warden just because of the 1.5. I'm telling you, we're in a 1.5 meta right now, running gun, and it's just, you know, you can't really beat that. So it's like you gotta adapt or just, you know, play the operators or just sit inside and wait for them to come to you. Next up, we have Maestro. Maestro, no matter what, I will put at a high tier of, you know, placement. But just because he doesn't, again, not with the 1.5 nothing, but his cameras are still good, can be destroyed or punched, but you can still open them. But Maestro just needs that 1.5, man. I'm telling you, he just needs that 1.5 just to solidify his state with Siege, and everything will be fine. He used to have the ACOG, but Maestro, as any anchor, you should be able to have access to the 1.5. I do strongly believe that, you know, 3 armor, 1 speed, and he just, you know, needs that extra little you know, that just to have something. But he still is a great defender nonetheless. Next up, we have Maverick. Maverick, I want to say, is one of the worst breachers that we have right now. I'm going to put him at low C just because he doesn't have nades anymore. You know, when Maverick had nades, he was very strong. It really suited his playstyle, suited his operator. But now, without the nades, it's kind of just like, he doesn't really have much. You know, so you see a lot of Ace or Hibana or Thermplane. Next up, we have Clash. More annoying than none. Again, with team play, you know, definitely good like Montaigne. Clash with her shock though, definitely is above Montaigne. I'll put it here. But you know, you kind of just have to have a team around you. Otherwise, you have to do a little turnaround, just like that Fox 8 clip yesterday, and you know, try to kill the other team. But it's hard. Next up, we have Nomad. Nomad, I am going to put at high A. I think definitely in the high A list, just because, you know, flank watch, flashes, good guns. The ARX with 1.5, fantastic. The AK-47, I believe it's called. I want to say. Still 2 good guns. You have the sniper pistol, or you have the other gun that Aruni has, and I think it's just Aruni that has it. Or Cav, sorry, Cav without the suppressor. Well, with the suppressor for Cav. But Nomad is very, very good. I love running her. You know, you can really cut off areas with her and make her viable for any site, no matter what. Every single map, every single site. Next up, we have Cade. Cade, I'm gonna put in the middle of A. I'll put it above Blaz, but there. I think Cade, his gadget, you have to look for it, but still very good nonetheless. And you know, I definitely run him over Bandit any day of the week, just because the Cades, you know, you can put in very hidden spots and make it so they can't see it. Next up, we have Gridlock. Gridlock, definitely up there. I'm gonna put her at low. I'll put her at low C just because, you know, I still like her, but it's just, you know, the gun, the F90 is so it reminds me of like young Jaeger ACOG with the 1.5, and it's just so nice to use. But Gridlock is like, you can shoot it super easy, and you know, it's not really the best flank watch in my opinion, but still very good to the day. Next up, we have Mozzie. Mozzie 1.5 hasn't been changed in years. Definitely up there with the defenders, and you can also get drones for intel. I'm gonna put him above Alibi. No, I'll put him a little bit higher. Put him above Vigil, but below Bandit. Gun's really good. You have the Nitro too. You don't really got much with him, but you know, it's better to have cams than not, and you could burn, you know, time with them not knowing where you are, and you could, you know, drone out or get information. Also, you get Twitch drones, Bravo drones, or yeah, that's really it. So, kind of up there, but definitely above Vigil. Next up, we have Knock. Knock, now, I don't know. I'm going to put her at low C. Ever since she got her nerf, and her gadget's not really that good anymore, you don't really see her being used that much anymore. She still has nades. She's one of the nade operators, which I guess is a perk. So, I'll put her above a little bit more at C. But other than that, it's like, you just have nades, and that's really all you got, to be honest. Warden, for sure. We're in the meta 1.5. Gonna put him at high A no matter what. I mean, could be low S as well, but it's kind of like, you know, the 1.5 with Warden, you see his gadget not really being used, but the Nitro or the shield, I mean, 1.5, like I said, it's really all he got. But once he gets it taken away, he's not going to really be useful, so he's going to be lower. But with his gadget too, I mean, flashbangs, Yin Candelas, really anything, smokes, It's very good. Next up, we have Amaru. Amaru, definitely gonna put above Capital. I think Amaru fits fine at this A tier, like high-ish, just because you can get places fast. You have hard reach, flashbangs, or you have a, well, I guess you have a LMG as well, and the SMG, or the Italian shotgun secondary. But you get in places very fast, and you can make a move if you want to, and really, you can do anything with her. Next up, we have Goyo. Goyo, oh man, Goyo definitely gonna put at low S. I think his gadget with 4 of them burn long and waste a lot of time. You can run through them, but take a lot of damage. But it burns off time and, you know, entry denial as well. Very good. The Vector with 1.52, amazing gun. Definitely gonna put Goyo above all these operators I put at B, but I see him being low S for sure. Next up, we have Callie. Again, more of a meme operator. Not the best, but I like using her just because of the one-shot sniper, depending on the armor as well. But, you know, very fun to use. I mean, you can get any gadget off a wall, and it doesn't destroy when you use the lance. It's very fun. So I'm going to put her at low C. Next up, we have Wamai. Wamai definitely still above here. I'm just going to put Wamai at low S. Personally, I don't like Wamai that much, but I see a lot of people using him. I just don't like the MP5K with 1.5. Any attachment on it just feels weird. So that's why I avoid using him. But a lot of my friends like to use him, and I see it a lot in Pro League too. So Wamai, again, over Jaeger, talked about this earlier, but Wamai definitely goes Jaeger just because you can throw his device and you can make it so it's where it's, you know, situational on where they go. And you also have impacts as well, or the proxy. So definitely gonna put him up there. Yana to this day, no matter what, still fantastic. Gotta put her at S with the nades and the G36C with the ACOG, or the ARX with the hollow. But ever since the ARX, a lot of people use G36 just because, again, the 1.5. So we'll put her at S tier. Next up, we have Oryx. Oryx is kind of in a weird place right now. I'm gonna put him at just high-ish A, just because you have the bailiff and you can jump up hatches. They buffed his hatch, like, pull-up, so he goes up hatches a lot faster now. And, you know, you still see Oryx. I mean, you can make vert with them. You have proxies or barbed wire, which is very good for any site. And, you know, the T5, again, with Legion, still a great gun, but I would put him below S tier for sure. Next up, we have Ace. Ace, in my opinion, best hard breach operator in the game. I think Ace is perfectly fine where he's at right now. Again, you could throw it so you're safe. You have breach charges or claymore, so you can work vertical if you want. You could place it for flank watch claymores. And I mean, the AK-47, amazing gun, so good. So next up, we have Melusi. Melusi again kind of fell off in her own way with her speed and, you know, her gadget being able to be shot now instead of punching. Back in the day, you used to be able to punch it. And you couldn't shoot it, so it's basically invincible, and used to have the T5 with 1.5. Now, she's not really used that much. I don't think she's really in the meta, and she's kind of more annoying to run than not, just because of her speed. Next up, we have Zero. Zero, low S. Underrated operator no matter what. I think Zero is just fantastic, and he's just, you know, 4 cameras, you have a GON 6, 2 great guns, MP7 with a 1.5, or the SC something, I believe, with a 1.5 as well. I mean, another great gun. You know, so fun to use no matter what. And I think he fits the meta fine with flank watch. And even if you win the entry, I mean, he's a 3 speed, 1 armor. Or maybe he's I don't know his exact speed. But he also has a hard breach device or claymores, so you can really push anywhere with him. Next up, we have Aruni. Aruni, I'm definitely going to put at high A tier here. Just because she's been in the meta no matter what. Even though her speed got decreased a little bit, her gadgets still take burn to, you know, to get rid of, and her DMR always has hit no matter what. I mean, the DMR and Dokumi and Aruni are just fantastic. I love that DMR so much. And you also have a bulletproof or barbed wire with Aruni too, and you can make punch hole rotates or punch holes with her, you know, her arm. So that's a really strong attribute to her basically character. Next up, we have Floors. Floors, it's still very strong. Definitely going to go above some of these breachers or some of these players here. I'm going to put above Sledge though, just because you have four drones with him, and you have 2 extra ones in pocket. So 6 drones total. You have flashbangs, or you have a Claymore. You have good guns, you have the AR-33, or you have the DMR. I don't use the DMR at all, but the AR-33 with the 1.5, amazing. And you can make vertical with it, you get rid of utility. Only thing that stops it is really meat jammers or bullets. So how can you really lose with floors? T-Bird. This is the question I had before with T-Bird. What would you do with T-Bird? Above Doc or below? I'm going to put T-Bird below Doc just because, like I said earlier, very, you know, situation where you have all defenders always being injured and, you know, always roaming. And it's just, you know, her gun is very good. The spear is good. No nitro anymore either, so... But they did update the speed of the T-Bird station, so it goes a lot faster and it gives more health. Next up, we have Osa. Osa, once again, in a very weird state of where she is. I would definitely put her above Zofia, but below Nock. Now that Osa is a 3 armor, 1 speed, she's more clunky and more heavy, and her speed with her shield just doesn't fit right in my opinion. Still used and still can be annoying if the other team doesn't have impacts on defense and you get rid of it easily, but it is a big deal if they have it. But again, most of the time you really don't see Osa being played, at least in ranked. A little bit in Pro League, but you don't really see her getting used that much. Next up, we have Thorn. Thorn with a 1.5. I'm going to put her at low S just because I do agree with some of my friends on that. Her gadget is not that strong, but still very good to have. But the 1.5 just adds on to it. Very fun to play. And, you know, her gadget can really trap in operators. Very, you know, again, very situational, I would say. But, I mean, the 1.5, gotta have it. Next up, we have Azami. Azami, one of the best here. I'm going to put above Ashe, but below Yana. Azami, with her Kiba, strongest operator in the game right now for sure. I'm going to put her even higher, I think. I'm going to put her at second. Azami is one of the strongest operators in the game. And it's just... you can't really beat it. You know, you have to burn utility for it, or, you know, I wish it would just degrade over time, but it, like, you know, it doesn't, and she definitely needs a nerf. Been the strongest operator ever since she came out, but now it's kind of like, you can't really deal with it, so it's more annoying to play against no matter what. Next up, we have Sense. Sense is kind of in a weird space. I'm going to put her above Finka, though. I think Sense can be used fine. It's just, again, situational, what you really have, and what you can do with them, but, you know, I like using them a lot. The gun definitely is something new. I wish the gun would be on more operators for sure, but again, not really in the meta that we're in right now. Grim, with the new Grim update, definitely gonna put him high. Definitely above 0. I mean, the canisters, just everything feels fantastic with them. The new update definitely wasn't needed, or wanted, but it just, you know, it's a fine touch. I'm not gonna complain about it. Feels fantastic. Solus, 3rd place. Overpowered operator, needs a nerf. See any gadget that the attackers are doing, you know, on their drones, anything, where drones are. You get so much information, and she's so overpowered. Has been nerfed yet. Brava, again, Brava definitely is, I don't know, in a weird spot. I'm going to put Brava below Thatcher, but above Echo. It's just, with the gadget, Brava just so slow, and it's like you have to include time into using Brava's gadget, and just a lot slower, not really in the pace. The par, though, with 1.5 is very good, don't get me wrong, but it's just, you know, I'd rather really not have a Brava. I'd rather have just, like, flank cams or really anything than destroying utility. So, other than that, we have 2 other operators. Fenrir, I'm going to put Fenrir in the middle here, above Legion, but below, or, sorry, above Buck, but below Legion. Fenrir definitely deserves a spot as well. A very strong operator. I don't know, like, how he hasn't been nerfed in whatsoever way, but very strong, and, you know, I just, yeah, very overpowered. And then finally, we have Ram. Ram, I would put somewhere in either low A or low B. Still trying to get the grasp of Ram. It's just, I haven't really gotten the full, like, you know, there with her, and it's kind of just, you know, you have to get to play Ram more and just feel the way of what's really happening. And it's just, I haven't seen a lot of her being played in Pro League, so it's like you can't really judge her yet. You know, you have to give her a little bit of time left. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you very much. These are my opinions, again, of what I think personally. And, you know, if you want to see more, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think about this as well. I know it's a longer video, so not a lot of people are going to make it to the end, but let me know what you think about it. I think this is very, very opinion heavy, and I'm excited to see what you guys have to say. So, I'll see you guys in the next video, and peace be with you.